Hi, everyone, and welcome again. This is Ken Varga. It's so exciting at 75 that I'm able to do these things and share these ideas with you because it would be a heck of a shame, to just lose all this knowledge. I want you to hold off the questions till the end. We're going to answer all the questions at the end. And I want you to also have a pen and pad handy to take notes. All right. You're also going to get a recording of this call, and what you want to do is to just go through it. So I'm going to be giving you quite a number of scripts, information, and what have you that I need you to take a look at. So after the call, when you get the link tomorrow, what I want you to do is to pause it at a certain point so that you could write out the scripts that I'm going to be giving you. This webinar, by the way, is a rarity. It really, really is a rarity. You probably hear my phone in the background. Anyway, it's a rarity because, you've probably, like myself, responded to many surveys via email, but no one ever did a webinar on the responses that you've given and the answers to your problems that they've asked for. We're probably the first to do such a webinar, so let's really get started. So I'm going to go over Build Your Downline Fast, ideas that were sent to us in the surveys, and I'll be responding back to those to give you the ideas. But it's ideas on how to flood your downline with clients and customers, and an early bird preview of my new training platform. Anyway, John Davern, I'm working in conjunction with John Davern, who's the CEO of Virtual Assistant Talent. He's going to give you quite a number of extra bonuses at the end, but here also is a situation where you should contemplate hiring someone like them to do the mundane jobs that you do by yourself. And then here's a little bio of myself. As all of you know, I built 35 businesses and generated over 6 million customers. I created 2 network marketing companies in the past that I've created thousands and thousands of individuals in my downline. Anyway, here's the early bird survey responses and questions that you guys sent to us. I cover all of these questions and answers in my training, but in this webinar, I'm going to discuss the top 10 ideas and concerns that you raised in the surveys, because I couldn't possibly in this webinar go over the 30 to 50 some odd questions that you had. In fact, in the training program, I will be going over the extra questions besides the top 10 I'm going to be going over on this webinar in the coaching sessions after you guys invest in the training program. So here we go. What are the first question that was asked in the survey were, what are the top 3 things that you'd like to learn in our new training program? All right, number 1, inexpensive lead generation strategies. You've got LinkedIn. In fact, next week I'm going to be going over the new platform that LinkedIn did on how to do the connection messages so that you can get people to connect with you on your first level, and other social media. But one of the other things that are really, really very interesting to me is meetup groups. So if you get a chance, go to meetup.com and take a look at the groups that are locally around you, because those are face-to-face networking groups, and they're critical. In the training program, I go over many, many things, and I'll give you some ideas on what to say in a elevator pitch as we go through this webinar. The second question was how to get my message in front of as many qualified individuals so that they can see what I have to offer. I would always, again, suggest Virtual Assistant Talent, because they can get, next week I'm going to show you how to get 10 to 25 new prospects every month to show your products too. And you could do it, or you could hire somebody at Virtual Assistant Talent to do it. But in Module 1 of the training program, I go over how to turn your database into your personal gold mine. And that'll show you a lot of stuff of what you could get in front of individuals about. Number 3 is finding places to network. The best places to get interested prospects, best way and time to introduce your product, your programs. Again, meetup groups, LinkedIn, Facebook, postings. I was just talking to John. Those of you who are friending me on Facebook, we have all these products that are in there. But what are the best ways to prospect? Section 2, Module 4, right, is all about grabber letters. Module 5 is how to make grabber letters really work. And then you also have LinkedIn to prospect with, and Meetup. There's so many different methodologies. But that to me is very critical and important. Anyway, to effectively find, how do I effectively find individuals that are interested in creating residual income? Again, here's just one example. Customers who have children ready for college within 4 years from now. Just develop a relationship with those type individuals and see if they have already set up aside money for their children's education. Just ask them, have you taken care of John's education yet? The next 4 years is going to come around very quickly. All right? About 90% of individuals are interested in creating residual income when you hit their hot button. And that's very important and critical there. Okay, number 6, keys to getting prospects interested on the first contact, keeping your downline engaged. In section 10 of the training program, I go into creating irresistible offers and promoting them the right way. This is so important. Okay, the next question is using LinkedIn to attract qualified leads. In next week's upcoming webinar, I'm going to go over attracting leads on LinkedIn. So make sure you're on the webinar next week on how to do lead generation on LinkedIn. And then in the future, I'll be doing a lot of more webinars. I'll be doing another one on Meetup and another one on LinkedIn using other methods to create responses from individuals. Number 8 is finding organizations or groups to speak to. What you want to do is to make a list of the organization and groups. And right now I'm just going to go over with you what I call the first 100, creating a list of the first 100 list. And what you want to do is to just make this list of 100 individuals. Most organizations or groups know a lot of people. What you want to do is create this list and consistently keep in touch with them once a month. In the training program, I give you ideas on how to do that. In a lot of things that I do, but you could go to, if you need information that's pertinent to them, just go to articles rather that you could send to them via email. I mean, it's just fantastic today. When I had my 6 million clients, most of them I communicated with through snail mail. And about 98% of them I never saw face to face. It was all direct mail with the grabber letters, etc. But make this list of 100 individuals and just consistently call them or mail them an information product that would help them in their organization, and then just simply follow up with a phone call and say, John, I sent you off the article. I was just wondering what you thought of it. All right? So constantly make that list, and it'll really work out for you. How to speak about your opportunity and to write prospects to get them to join or purchase. Again, I got to go back to the grabber letters. That's important. How to build a productive team in record time. Focus on client getting scripts. I'm going to go over a couple of scripts with you. But right now, let's just go over a customer and client getting script that I feel, I call it a referral conversation. So it's important that that we go over that so that it's right there for you. All right. But in this one, all right, people at some point every day or every week will ask you, John, what do you do? Or what do you do for a living? You know, if you go to networking events via Meetup or other local networking events, people are always asking you what you're doing. And you could just close your eyes and imagine for a moment how many times people have asked you that question. In your daily life, people will ask you this simple question over and over again because it's the most common question people ask during casual conversation. I mean, you must initially start by telling people a short story about what you do. You know, by telling people a short story about what you do, you can paint the exact picture that you want people to see it. Here's an example. Somebody says to you, what do you do for a living? Just simply say, thanks for asking. The best way I can describe what I do is with a quick story. Recently, I met a woman who had tried for years and years to lose weight. And then I showed her how she could lose 25 pounds in 60 days, and she did that. That is what I do. After you hear this story, the person will normally mention something relative. They might say, I wish I had someone like you. Or they might say, wow, that is amazing. I could use the same help. So by telling people a short story about what you do, you could open the door to having a wonderful conversation about what makes you unique as a network marketer and how you can be the perfect network marketer to help them. By using this script, you have just created a casual conversation into a referral conversation. Let's say you're with World Vacations or something like that. You can simply say, I'm a life enhancement specialist. I create for individuals like yourself the most ideal vacation they ever could imagine at a 50% discount for them. That's what I do. All right, so again, keep that up. Now, what I would suggest that you do is also for any of your clients or customers, and I'm going to go over a script for you in a minute, but for all your clients and customers, I would go about and have a birthday party for them. You just simply tell them to make a list of 15 to 20 individuals that they would like to invite to your birthday party, and you can provide lunch or breakfast, whatever it is, for them. In this way, you could just simply tell them, John is involved in my network marketing company, and I just wanted to share with you some of the things we have done for individuals to help them. And then you wanted them to purchase the product, to become a customer, and then after they become a customer and experience the value of the experience of the product itself, then you could ask them if they would like to join your downline. But here's another script that I'd like to share with you. The other day, I needed to take my car to the Lexus dealer because the light on my dashboard went on, and because it's a high-performance vehicle, I had no idea what the issue was. You know, years ago in the 50s and 60s, I used to take my transmissions out of my cars or work on the engines. Now I open up the hood, I just put it back down. But when I pulled into the dealership, I had a feeling this was going to cost me a lot of money. And when I told the local representative what was going on, he said, let me hook it up to the diagnostic equipment and we'll see what the issue is. After doing some tests, the mechanic said, Ken, it's a malfunction in the air pressure pump. Now that sounded expensive to me. He mentioned that he had a few options. He said, I could put your car up on the rack and replace the pump now, but it's going to really cost you. Or I can simply turn off the warning light and you could go out and drive the car for a few miles. If the warning light doesn't come back on after you drive the car, it means that everything is fine and the light just needed to be reset. So that's what I did. By the time I drove around, the light did go out. Of course, I was relieved because I thought I was in for a costly repair bill. And surprisingly, it didn't cost me anything. When I saw the representative, I shook his hand and said, thank you. And I said thank you several times. I really was very grateful because he could have easily charged me thousands of dollars for a repair I didn't need. His response when I thanked him was, no problem. If I could save you some money, that is a good thing. And that was it. He went to work and I got in my car and drove away. But as I sat in my car at the dealership, I was filled with a lot of gratitude that the problem was solved. And in that moment, I started thinking about what the dealer could have said to me that would have been more impactful. He had just saved me thousands of dollars, and when I thanked him, all he said was no problem. At that moment, I was so happy that I would have done anything for him, something to help his business. I would have been grateful to them. Now, I'm not saying anything negative about this guy, but his response to no problem is actually what most people say when someone thanks them. You don't say no problem. You might say you are welcome or don't mention it. All of these are habitual responses that most people use when someone says thank you. When someone says thank you, it is a magical moment, and it is the perfect time to have a meaningful referral conversation that can generate new clients. When someone says thank you, it can be one of the most profitable moments in your business. For those of you who are going to sign up in a training program, in Module 1, I go over the law of reciprocity, and I show you many methods of using it. The thank you is just another one. When someone says thank you for this brief moment, they will experience a strong impulse to give something back to you. Here's the most important thing. You must ask for a referral immediately after somebody thanks you. So the next time someone says thank you, just simply say to them, it was my pleasure. You could always count on me, and I know that I could always count on you to introduce me to the people that you care about, because you want your family, your friends, and neighbors to get the best whatever you're selling, by the way. You just insert there. If they're losing weight, whatever. Because you want your family, your friends, and neighbor to get the best whatever when they're thinking about whatever you do or the product does. So let me know how to make out when this happens to you, by the way, because I'm very interested in that. If any of you are having any difficulty in creating that elevator pitch on a response on these scripts, after you get the link to review this webinar again in your leisure, when you get through it and you're still having difficulty, just send me an email at kenpbg@aol.com, and I'll be glad to help you with that. So anyway, let's go on to the three things. The next thing that we want to go over are the two or three problems that are occurring in your network marketing business now that you would like to have answers to. The number one is no growth, and your competition is growing. Now, in section 11, by the way, I go over how to turn lookers into buyers and stay ahead of your competition. And in module 37, it's a strategy that will bond your customers to you, and they will never, ever go to your competition. If you need to get new prospects. All right? How to create their direct mail letters to wow your audience in section 2. That, to me, is important, and it's going to be important to you to do in the future. So section 2 is how to get more prospects using the script letters that I've given you, and the training program is a massive amount of information and knowledge that you should implement. Number 3 is not finding enough people to talk to. I had more than 2,000 distributors. Now I have less than 100. Again, you've got to set up a system where every month an email goes out where you're sending them communication, updating them, being in front of them constantly. The most important thing you want to do is, a lot of times, when you go to buy something from a business, they never follow up with you. Why? Because they never have your information. You have the information on the emails on your prospects. You have the emails on your customers. You want to set up 2 different databases. One person in your prospecting becomes a customer, you move them into the customer one, because that's going to be different data and information that you're going to follow up with. So it's important and critical for you to do that. How to keep a team focused and motivated to perform. Again, it's through education and training, consistent training and consistent education. And again, this comes with above the consistency factor. How can I meet enough qualified people, keeping my active prospect list full? Besides the LinkedIn and the meetups and everything, in section 5, I go over the most effective system for creating creative prospecting that will get you new customers every single time. And in section 7 of the training program, in module 22, I go over how to turn call-in and walk-in prospects into clients and customers. This is important. I've just gone over the customer getting scripts. The biggest lessons I've learned, by the way, on implementing profit-producing marketing methods, I go over extensively in section 4, and also in section 6, I present the greatest benefits of your product service to the people that surround you and how to do it in great detail. Okay, another problem that a person had was how to not set unrealistic expectations but still present an attractive proposition. I'm just going to go back with being honest. You want to underperform. You don't want to. You want to overperform. You want to underpromise, overperform. And by being honest about your product, if you've got a product that doesn't work, you're in deep trouble. All right. So being honest about your product and what an individual can expect from it. I mean, a person, if you're selling a weight loss program, if a person loses 1 pound every 2 weeks, if you say that they lose 3 pounds every 2 weeks, you're in a positive frame of mind for them. Finding more time to work. Module 10, I go over how to make your clients feel special and compel them to do more business with you and give you truckloads of referrals. All right? And finding more time to work, I would suggest very strongly, and John's gonna get on in a moment, and you're gonna see bonuses that John is giving you that are absolutely incredible, and you can't afford not to, because he's gonna give you a lot of free time to find out and get the prospects via virtual assistants, where they could do the connection requests, the meetups, all the stuff that I go over for you that you need more time just to be able to go out and make the sales yourself instead of doing the mundane work that a virtual assistant could do every week. I mean, I just did an analysis of my cost last month for my virtual assistant, and I had a 357% return on my investment. Now that is darn good. Okay. Not finding the right people that can be open to creating wealth. What you've got to do is you've got to create a demographic, psychographic, ideal prospect profile. I go over that extensively in the training modules, but the most important thing is that you just look at who your customers are now, and who is in your downline, and they're your demographics and psychographics right there. Okay, the last one was we have many customers in the network who bought only once or twice. How to promote interest in repurchasing with existing customers. Again, communication is the key factor, but in section 4, module 12, I go over the greatest sales secret you could ever learn. And in section 5, I go over module 15, how to motivate your former customers to do business with you again and again. So you've got lost customers, but what I can't understand is why. You got to find out why a customer only buys once or twice. I mean, if your product is a product that they use on a monthly basis, if your product with your company is not one that they use on a consistent basis, why be with that company? You're in business for residual revenue. And the key thing here is to be able to just communicate with the customers every month about the products that they're using and how it's turning out. Just simply say, John, let me know how you made out on that weight loss. How much have you lost? Et cetera, et cetera. Because in today's day, I mean, back when I had my 6 million customers, I communicated with them once a month via snail mail. Now, the snail mail was what? The snail mail was the regular mail that individuals have now. So it's important, today's day and age, just with the press of a button, you can be communicating with them once a month. And you want to do this if they're in your downline. You want to share with them. I want all of you who are on LinkedIn, if you're not my first level customer, sign up for my first level customer. But I want you to also sign up for the Network Marketers marketing group. So you'll and you could use my blogs. You could have them sign up for it. Every month, you all get one of my blogs. Just save them and send them to your downline, and then get them to join to receive the blogs. I mean, it's a win-win scenario. So there's no reason that you have customers who buy only once or twice and then forget about you. All right. So number 3 was, what type of training delivery platform would you like to see our training modules? And I want to thank all of you that filled out the survey, because we've implemented all of your advice. All right. We put it in ebook format, in a PDF format that you could download and print up. We've also changed and made it into an audio book also, where you could listen to. I'd suggest very strongly downloading into your iTunes, so that you can now listen to it while you're working out or doing just many, many different things. But we've also created a membership site so that you can download all the information. We also have videos and a podcast. And we're going to have the coaching sessions. But this is about building your downline fast training program. This is what it is. It's divided into 13 sections, you can see there, with each section having a general theme and multiple modules within each section. As an example, section 1 is all about list building and how to make your database work for you and turn it into a gold mine. So you can see what it looks like there. Here's what you'll see when you click on module 1. Every module has a PDF that you can download and read, and a computer-generated text to audio that you could listen to anytime at your leisure. There's 42 training modules, by the way, and all of them are in PDF ebook format, and they're converted to MP3 audio downloads available. So you just go underneath my picture, you click on download. I would suggest that everybody create a folder on their desktop and title it Ken Varga, and just put the modules in there and download the MP3 audios, so that, again, if you ever want to listen to it in the background while you're doing something on your computer, you can. I would also download them into your iPod. In section 13, there's a tab, if you could see after that on the far right-hand side, Coaching Calls tab. Click on it, and you'll see an archive of my pre-recorded coaching calls, over 40 hours worth, on topics that have come up during the calls, and questions and answers on how you can build your downline fast and create more clients and customers. There, again, there's 40 hours of pre-recorded coaching calls. As you listen to every one, I would download them again. I would create a folder within the Ken Varga folder called Coaching Calls, and just download them, and also download them to your iPod. You know, I listened to a lot of calls that I've downloaded to my iPod, sometimes 5 or 6 times, and even listening to them 5 or 6 times, I realize and get an idea that I didn't think about when I was listening to it the 5 times before. So it never hurts to continually listen to these over and over, because they'll generate more thought-provoking ideas for you. Here's a testimonial that I got from Brian Tracy. Just take a moment and read it. And again, when you get the recording, you could pause it here and read it in extensive detail. Here's a testimonial I got from Mark Victor Hansen, who's the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Take a moment and just read it. And here's one from Dan Kennedy, a dear friend of mine. By the way, the third paragraph where it says, Ken makes so much money they have a person in Washington designated to try and figure out how to get more taxes out of him, that isn't true. I think he was just doing it to make you laugh. It made me laugh when he sent me the testimonial. Okay, so here's what the program's all about. Your personal investment, or initially we have it, I'm going to go over some bonuses with you. The cost of the program is $1,497. But if you're one of the first 100 to purchase and get these 2 great bonuses, all right? Again, bonus number 1 is 2 months of live coaching calls with me. I'll answer any questions you have about flooding your network marketing business with customers. You'll get to learn what challenges your colleagues are also facing and how you too can conquer those challenges, because you're going to hear them ask me the questions on the coaching program. John, why don't you take a moment and just go over bonus 2 for the individuals?
Yeah, thank you, Ken. It's a pleasure to be on the call. As Ken had showed early on, I have a virtual assistant company, virtualassistanttalent.com, and a little bit about me. I hired my first virtual assistant back in 2006, and that was for real estate, where I had a virtual assistant doing repetitive postings to Craigslist and getting real estate leads in Craigslist to do my first few real estate deals. I also was in network marketing at that time as well, and I had a virtual assistant build a website for me to have the leads that I would have for the business opportunity presentations. They would go to that site and register for the business opportunities, and I was doing repetitive Craigslist postings, so I had a VA do that for me, directing people to the BOPs. And I started Virtual Assistant Talent then in 2009, and since then I've hired and trained hundreds of virtual assistants, and one of the things that I wanted to do, I've also been part of Ken's coaching program for over 4 years, and Ken teaches a lot of different techniques. He's gone over some of the different things today, and one of the techniques he taught in his coaching program was about LinkedIn and using LinkedIn to generate leads, and the technique that he taught on that, I've been doing that for 4 years. We've updated it, especially now since there's a new LinkedIn platform that they launched earlier this year. We're going to be covering that on a webinar next week, but wanted to just share with you, a lot of these different things, you don't have to do them on your own. You can leverage your time, and so one of the bonuses that we're offering as part of this program is you can test out a virtual assistant on a weekly basis, and I've got a voucher, a $50 coupon voucher, where you can try out a virtual assistant for 1 week, and then if that'll be for $50 off, and then if everything goes well and you like that, then you can subscribe to one of the monthly subscriptions and get $150 off. So those are 2 huge discounts. That's the most discount that I've ever offered. It's pretty much giving you the opportunity to get a virtual assistant at cost and try that out. So that's a $200 value. So that's the second bonus that we're offering here.
Thank you, John. I think everybody should really look at it. Okay, so I want to give you an early bird special discount of $500, where your investment in the program is only $997. But also as a bonus, instead of 2 months of coaching calls, I'm going to add another 2 months to it. So it'll be a total of 4 months of the coaching calls. Now the value of just this is $4,994, almost $5,000 value. All right? And you get full access to the 42 training modules, a PDF, ebook, and converted MP3 audio, 40 hours of coaching calls, the audio recordings that I did on other coaching calls, and there's a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. So I want you to get started on growing your revenues by clicking on the button that you'll be seeing in a minute, and start learning today and get more customers than you can possibly handle. I mean, I guarantee that if you follow through and implement the strategies in this coaching program, you will be so successful, it'll make your head spin. By the way, the early bird only bonus webinar, John, why don't you come on for another moment and just go over this $350 value?
Yeah, so in addition to the other bonuses we mentioned, if you purchase the program during the early bird period, I'm going to be having a special webinar on how to successfully outsource tasks and manage your first virtual assistant. So as I mentioned, hired my first virtual assistant back in 2006 and started a virtual assistant company in 2009, virtualassistanttalent.com, and I've hired hundreds of virtual assistants, trained hundreds of virtual assistants, and we've provided virtual assistants to hundreds of clients. And on this webinar, I'm going to share with you some of the best methods to successfully delegate tasks to a virtual assistant. I'm going to talk about what's the best ways and methods, how to delegate the tasks, what to do, what not to do, and some of the common pitfalls of outsourcing, and how to avoid those pitfalls, and how to have a good communication with a virtual assistant, what cultural differences to keep in mind. And then I'm also going to discuss about how you can develop a standardized work where you map out your work tasks for the virtual assistant to do on a daily basis, a weekly basis, or monthly basis, as well as cover some of the best project management and communication tools that you can use. So I'll be on that call. I'm also going to have key members of my virtual assistant team on that call so that you can learn how to successfully outsource tasks and manage your first virtual assistant and have a positive experience that can really help to transform your work situation into a good work-life balance. And also to help with your lead generation. So that's all going to be on this early bird bonus webinar.
You know, John, I just want to add something here because all of us have websites, but very rarely does an individual have a website that produces profit. And your virtual assistants just have developed websites that are just so lead generating, it's unbelievable. So this webinar that you're going to be doing is going to be so valuable to our individuals. And again, I want to thank you for including it as a bonus.
Sure, you're welcome. Yeah.
Okay. So we got the early bird special, the bonuses, 4 months of coaching calls, virtual assistant coupon and vouchers, a value of $200, and the webinar on how to successfully outsource and manage your first virtual assistant. So the total early bird discount bonus values equals $6,044. Just incredible. So sign up now, and here's the link. So why don't you write it down, or you could click on it. And the promo code is early 500 KV. And by the way, it expires Tuesday the 28th, next week at midnight. So take a moment to go over it and write it down. And again, you're going to be getting a link to view this in your leisure. So again, it's buildyourdownlinefast.com/early-bird. Okay, here's some alternative links that you might have if you're not in network marketing and somehow you're on this webinar. Okay, we're going to go over some questions and answers at this time. So why don't we open it up for questions and answers? And John, why don't you just show individuals how they can ask the questions?
Sure, yeah. A couple different ways they can ask questions. The first way would be there in you have a control panel, and there's a little section where you can click on questions, and you can just type a question, and you can click send to all so that everybody can see the question, or you can click send privately to send a question specifically to either Ken or myself. And so that's one option. A second option is you could also type up a question in the chat box area and click send. And the third way would be there's an option to raise your hand, and if you raise your hand, we'll unmute you so that you can ask a question. So those are the three different options if you want to ask any type of question. So
John,
yes.
while they're writing the questions down, why don't you go over and show them, show your screen to show the mechanism of the program.
Will. Sure, okay. So here's, just so you can kind of see, if you sign up for the program, you will be able to select, you'll have a username and a password that you'll get emailed, also a link as well confirming that you've purchased the program, and then you'll be able to access the website. And when you log into the website, you'll see here the first section, there's a welcome video with Ken. The second section is the schedule, and this shows all the different sections. So each of the sections has several modules, anywhere from 2 to 4 modules in it, and it talks about what's in that section, when the release date is. You want to pace yourself through the program. So a lot of times when people purchase trading programs, either they go through it, but they don't give themselves time to actually implement. The key here is implementation. And so this shows the dates that the modules are released. So the first 3 sections are available immediately, and then after that there's a section of modules that get released on a weekly basis. This shows all the different sections and what modules are covered. It also shows when we have the coaching call. So after several sections, there's a coaching call that you'll be able to submit your questions in advance of the coaching call so that we can go over those on these bonus coaching calls. So it shows the coaching call schedules. So the first coaching call is going to be on Wednesday, September 27th at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then you can see where it says the second coaching call is going to be on October 25th. And again, if you purchase during the special early bird period, you'll also be eligible for a third bonus coaching call on November 22nd, and then a fourth call in December. So that gives you time to go through the different sections and the modules and to implement, but then also to ask any questions on these coaching calls. And then there's the bonus webinar, which is the dates to be announced. But you'll get a invitation to these coaching calls and reminders to these as well, and it also will be posted on the site. So there's the next section is the overview video, and there's a roadmap to the course that you can download. So you just download the PDF that shows all the different sections, the modules. When you click on this section, Ken already touched on this, but when you click the section, you'll be able to see what is the general theme for that section. So the first one's list building and how to make your database work for you, and you just click on, you can see what the different modules are. You click on the module, and you can go back to any of the other modules on the left-hand side to jump back and forth, and then you can download the module ebook. You can also play and stream the audio recording, or you can download the audio recording, which is basically it's a text to the MP3, so you can listen to it in your commute or while you're exercising and so forth. And then you can just go from section to section. So I'm going to jump over to the end here. And if you look at here, these are the coaching calls. So there's a vast archive of coaching calls. Here's the schedule for the live coaching calls. So if you purchase during, the time period when we're having the live coaching calls and it's part of the bonus, you can be on those. And then if you miss the calls, they're going to be archived here. You can also access the vast database of 40 hours of recorded coaching calls. And what I like about this is it has the topic listed, the general topic or theme for the coaching call, and then some specifics of topics that were discussed within these coaching calls. And so you can just pick a topic that maybe you're having a difficulty or a challenge on, and you can very easily see what's covered on the coaching call, and then you can play those or download those to listen later on. But there's so many good topics of things that have been covered here. LinkedIn, the grabber letter, how to avoid being flagged for spamming in LinkedIn. So many good topics that are in this section. And then the last thing is the contact us form. So as you're preparing for the coaching calls, if you have some questions that you need to be covered on the coaching calls, you just fill out this contact us form with your question and submit it, and Ken will get that so that those can be covered on the coaching calls. Also, if you have any general questions or experiencing any issues or have any questions, you can fill that out as well. So that's an overview of the training website.
Okay, John, is there anybody write any questions down?
Let's see here. Looks like no, not seeing any questions right now. So If you do have some questions, though, you can certainly, through the Build Your Downline Fast, there's an opportunity to ask some questions after as well. We're also going to be sending out a recording of this as well, so if you have any questions afterwards, you can certainly send those over to us as well.
Yeah, or anybody could email me at kenpbg, Peter Boy Girl, at AOL.com, and I'll be happy to respond back to them. All right, John, I want to thank you for being on here and all the bonuses that you're offering the individuals. Again, they have a free opportunity to try your services out, so I hope that they'll take advantage of it. Anyway, I want to thank all of you for being on the conference webinar, and I look forward to talking to you again. Everybody keep well and take care.